What's good, everybody? It's Big Game James. I'm in these streets. We in these cornerback streets today. We talking about these cornerbacks right now. A few days ago, I started with the defensive ends and the breakdowns of the defensive ends and the current roster, free agents, and possibly people that could get drafted. So now we're going to touch on cornerbacks. Since we're on defense, let's stay with the cornerbacks. We'll do linebackers, defensive tackles, safeties, all that, and then go to offense too. But we talking about cornerbacks today. And, well, first let's talk about the news, the Dallas Cowboys news. Parrish Campbell signed with the Dallas Cowboys. It's just a camp body. I ain't thinking nothing else more about Parrish Campbell. Me and Boss Cowboys, we did a show. Actually, I was out there on my Facebook page, Facebook sports page, my Big Game James sports page, when he was with the Colts. And I said then, Cowboys take a flyer on him when he was with the Colts, not when he was with the Giants or when he was with the Eagles. I said take a flyer on when he's with the Colts, because at that time, Cowboys just needed speed. I wasn't looking for him to be nothing significant in the wide receiver room, but you already had players, but you needed that deep speed, and that's what he offered. I seen him since he was out here at Ohio State, so I said take a flyer 3 years ago. They always, remember, I told y'all, day late, dollar short. But, you know, he's a body. I ain't thinking nothing else more of Parrish Campbell. So let's talk about these cornerbacks right now. It's a hot topic. I gave a B for the defensive ends. You can go back and check that tape. If we're talking about the cornerbacks right now, you just had a couple of transactions. Israel Mukamu got re-signed, and then Kaiir Elam was traded for. So let's talk about the guys that are already in the room with the Dallas Cowboys. Trevon Diggs, Daron Bland, Amani Oruwariye, Israel Mukamu, Kaiir Elam, Kemon Hall, Andrew Booth, Kalen Carson, Troy Pride, and Josh Butler. Now, obviously, Trevon Diggs, we've seen what he's done. I don't want to be too long in this video. We've seen what he's done. The first start of his career speaks for itself. Never liked his tackling. I still hate his tackling, but the man can cover. The man can get interceptions. That's what he does. But he's had a couple of knee injuries, and there's a concern, especially with the last one, because they put him on the shelf again. So that's 2 straight seasons of end of the season, but not finishing the season and end the season on injured reserve. So, you know, there was talk about trading him, releasing him. They're not trading him for sure, because he's not even going to be ready by the regular season, I don't think. So I don't think trading's an option. Now, I think Trevon Diggs, if he can get back on this field, he may have to do some proving, because this is a new regime, and that old regime is gone. And this might be that show and prove year, because if you don't show and prove this year, I can definitely see a release next year, because that contract is friendly enough for them to release him. So this is a big year for Trevon Diggs. We'll see what happens, but I think this is a make-or-break year for him to see if he's still going to be with the Cowboys this year and beyond. So obviously, then next is Daron Bland. That's the big talk right now. Are you going to extend him? Daryl, was it Singletary? For the Texans, just got signed, huge contract. That might be the barometer in the bar, and people are like, you might want to go ahead and extend Bland now. I mean, you can, but don't break the bank on him. I believe the corner from Houston is better than him. He's been good since he came in LSU, and he's that guy. I definitely think he's better than Bland. And, you know, I like Bland, but I just have my reservations on him. I'd like to see this year. Obviously, we saw what he did. Made NFL history, 5 return touchdowns for a touchdown, 8 interceptions, then he had like 5 before. So he's an interception machine, but he doesn't have that top end speed. Those shallow crosses tend to get on him if he doesn't get on it early. The eyes, the anticipation is out of this world. But I just feel like he doesn't have that top speed. Top receivers give him the work. And I don't think he's just a CB1, in my opinion, more of a CB2. And there's nothing wrong with that, but you don't want to get paid that CB1 money when you're really a CB2. And that's just what I think of him. I think he's a CB2 and not a CB1. So just pay accordingly, and just my opinion. I would like to see him get resigned, but not break the bank resign, not number one big-time quarterback money. Nah, I just don't see that from Bland. That's just me. Now, then you got Amani Oruwariye. Ain't too much. I'm going to just keep it real. When we talking about Kemon Hall, Israel Mukama, who I do like, I'm glad they brought him back. I don't like how they did him, but I knew they were going to do that. We talked about in the regular season when they were keeping him on the bench. I'm like, why? I told you my theory, that they just kept him on the bench to decrease his value so nobody signed him so they could bring him back. Will it work? And he's back. And y'all need to play him because he can play different positions. He can play inside. He can play outside. He can play safety. That's a versatile. That's a Swiss Army knife guy. So please give him a chance. Kemon Hall, Andrew Booth, Amani Oruwariye, Kalen Carson, unknown, had the shoulder injury. Looked okay. I think there's potential there. They call him the seatbelt. We got to see. Troy Pride, I liked him coming out of college. You're taking a flyer on him. I don't think that hurts, but once again, these are just death pieces. These are none of these players I mentioned to you besides Bland and Diggs or anybody of significant value that you're thinking that's going to be a player that's going to really do something with Dallas. And I do like Josh Butler, but he had the ACL and he tore it late. And I thought he really played really well. So it was a shame that he got hurt because I like how he came in and really played well. So if you're looking at the guys, and then they traded for Kier Elam, who obviously young, 23, great size, 6'2", 200 pounds, got a lot of potential, but didn't play to it in Buffalo. Maybe the change of scenery does something better. Didn't have a bad rookie year, but after that just totally kind of fell off over there. So the hope is because he's so young and he has a lot of the tools, he's drafted high, Cowboys are hoping that they can bring that out of him. They've been doing that all these first and second rounders, want to bring out of him. So hopefully that happens, and we'll see if that happens. They did that with Booth last year, and it was absolute failure. So I hope it doesn't happen with Elam as well. So if we're talking about the guys that are already here, that room needs help. Now, let's talk about possible free agents. I already been told y'all Asante Samuel's a guy I like. I don't really care what anybody says about Asante Samuel. Oh, why do you want him? Well, because I wanted him since the draft. I wanted him over Kelvin Joseph. And I know they're saying, hey, he's 5'9", 5'10", doesn't meet the measurables, this and that. Well, all I got to do is look at this. I mean, he's a scrappy dude. He's young. He's not going to cost a lot of money. You got Kemon Hall, Andrew Booth, Troy Pride, Josh Butler, Kalen Carson, Amani Oruwariye. He's not better than them guys? I think he is. So the numbers prove it. He's had 2 interceptions, 11 passes defended, and 43 tackles each plus year he's been in the NFL, except last year when he was hurt. So I'll take that over those guys they have in that building right now. So as I mentioned before about Asante Samuel Jr., he's just on my list. There's a couple other guys out there. Rasul Douglas, he was with the Bills last year. Long arm. He's bounced around the league. He would be a steady veteran presence that you kind of maybe need right now. Chido Awuzie just got released. You could always bring him back. That's somebody who's familiar with the program. He's still young enough. He was in Jordan's class. I think he's like 30. Tre'Davious White, I want to stay away from that. He was that guy some years ago, not that now. Kendall Fuller, somebody, I think he just got released, so that's somebody to look at. But it seems to me that the Cowboys kind of already have the vision of who they already have right now. They picked up Kier Elam. I don't know if they're going to get busy. Still, you could still really get Asante Samuel Jr. You got money open. You haven't signed Parsons. You haven't signed Tyler Smith. You don't know what you're doing with Bland. You can still sign this young man for a 2-3 year deal. He's not going to get a big payday because he got hurt and he regressed a little bit. That just makes more sense to me. You lost Jordan Lewis. I think he can fill a void, and he's young enough. And I feel like, maybe that could be something in the future for you. I really think they should take a chance on Asante Samuel Jr. That's been my guy since the draft, and I'm kind of just staying with that one. So, and then if you're talking about the draft, because honestly, cornerback is kind of more of a priority now. It's got to be higher up on the list if you don't get anybody else. I don't think this room is great, and you got a lot of unknowns with injuries. So I don't know if you go with the 12th pick. Obviously, there's some guys out there. Will Johnson from Michigan, Jahadi Barron from Texas, Azarie Thomas, brother of Wanye. There's some guys out there. But are you going to do it at the 12th pick? I don't think they go to cornerback 12th. But it definitely is something that's of a need, and it has to be addressed very soon. So you don't have the 4th. You got rid of a couple picks through trades. So you really got to hit on these picks. I don't know when you get that corner. Do you get it in those first 3 picks? I don't know. They might go offensive tackle. You still need that running back. You still need that receiver. You still need a defensive tackle. You still need a linebacker. Like, you still got a lot of needs, but cornerback is a need, and they need to address it. So, I don't know. I would say, yeah, you got to look at it, but you still need that running back and receiver because you got to help your offense and you got to help Dak Prescott. So, we'll see how it goes in that draft. But if I were to give an overall grade for the cornerbacks, I give it a D right now. I'm looking at a D. You got too many injuries. You got too many unknowns. You got some depth, but it's not depth that you're excited about. And like I said, Diggs has had 2 years of injuries. Daron Bland came off injury last year. Let's see. It's unknown with Kyer Elam. It's just a lot of unknowns. The depth is good depth, but the players with the depth, I'm not excited about. And I still feel like you need to tap something in free agency on the veteran tip to kind of stabilize that room. And you're going to have to draft a cornerback, and you might have to draft them early. So my initial thoughts of the cornerback room right now, even with the free agents pickups, people who you re-signed, brought back, it's a D for me right now. And that's what I'm saying. So I'm heading off here. Give me your thoughts on the cornerback room. Give me your thoughts on the guys that are already here in Dallas. How do you feel about that? How do you feel about re-signing Bland? Do you want to let Trevon Diggs go next year? Like, what do you feel about them? And then we're talking about free agency. How do y'all feel about Asante Samuel Jr.? What's your cornerback that you may have liked from the free agency tip? Give me your thoughts. And then cornerback in the draft. Do you want to draft it high? Should it be the first three picks within the first 3 picks that the Cowboys have, And finally, what is y'all's grade? What would y'all give the cornerback room right now as it stands for the Dallas Cowboys? Please give me all your thoughts. Went a little bit longer, but please give me all your thoughts because I told you I love reading the comments. I love interjecting back and forth. So please let me know what your grade is for the Cowboys currently for the cornerback room, and do they need to upgrade it through veteran or should they draft early? Give me y'all's thoughts. I'm interested to hear. Big Game James. It's another great day out here. Smile. Tell somebody you love them. I'm out. Peace.